Day YouTube. It's like the 15th of March 2020. This is Autumn Marie. She's my assistant this weekend. She's my girl. She's my 3-year-old Australian Shepherd. She likes to come out to the shop. I just don't bring her out here probably as often as I should, but I'm often doing dusty, dirty projects or welding or something. I don't want her around those activities, but I'm not doing that today. This little video, just gonna show you that I'm sort of a prepper. I really didn't consider myself a prepper maybe till a few years ago, but I really always have been. I've always thought about that. I'm just gonna show you some stuff at the shop here. If you don't know, my shop is just blocks away from my house. And when I bought this building property 12, 13 years ago or something, it was all about being off-grid, even though I'm not off-grid. I'm right in town, but being able to function if kind of the shit hits a fan kind of deal. That's gained some popularity, or at least notoriety here lately, especially coronavirus preppers and so forth. We've had to kind of step up our game just a little bit, just to feel comfortable about our situation. But let me tell you things that I've done over the many years, both at my home and here at my shop, to be prepared for the whatever. This is a fully functioning wood-burning cook stove from, this is 1915, 1916, something like that, so over 100 years old. This is a Monarch, which was always has been really kind of a top-of-the-line stove. I know when my grandmother moved into their cabin full-time, back when I was a kid, she put in a Monarch gas stove with a trash burner on the side, and that's how she heated her house most of the time, was with that trash burner. So this, burns wood on this side. There's actually coils in this side for a water heater, which would have a container that actually would hang on this side of the stove, here and here, would just hang there, and then there's pipes coming out the back, hard to see, but right there and over there, that would pipe over and recirculate the water in this tank. The idea being, you build a fire, cook your meal, and then when you're done eating, you have hot water in a container here to pour into your dish pan and wash the dishes. That's how they did it back in the day. I've cooked with this. I baked with this. I always wanted one, and it's all connected to a flue outside, fully functioning. That is one way to cook when you don't have electricity. This we put in first. This is just was just a used gas stove, converted to propane. Has a broiler down below, oven here, and then it has a electric ignition, which is not necessarily that desirable, because I have to plug it into generator to get the electronic ignition to work if you really want that. If not, just turn it on and light it with a match, right? No big deal. It runs on propane, and I have a propane tank in this cabinet that runs that. We have water from a 250-gallon tote with a shallow well pump inside the building, and a small water heater back there amongst the cleaning items. Just a 5-gallon, I think, water heater, enough for this sink. But again, that water heater is electric, so that hot water is optional. I'll show you some other stuff. Well, it appears this is going to be a little dark here. I apologize for that. We have a propane burning freestanding stove there. Again, sorry, no lights. Didn't think it would be that dark in here. Anyway, the propane tank's on the other side of the wall, and it will heat this room very nicely. Sorry for the mess. We've been doing nothing but this, that, the other, and yard sales and cleaning stuff out and getting some stage lighting ready for stuff. It's got a lot of stuff going on. So anyway, that's how we could heat this room if the power goes out. Out in my metal shed, I've got, you know, some outdoor cooking accessories. I got a tote that has charcoal and charcoal accessories in it for cooking, Dutch oven and so forth. I have Dutch oven table and propane outdoor stove, that kind of thing. And I picked up some additional charcoal for my wraps. So probably have half a dozen bags charcoal for outside cooking, normal camping or whatever, but it's always nice to have a stash of it standing by. Of course, generators, you know I do lots of generators. I probably currently have 15. I believe that's a pretty accurate count. I was kind of running this one today, fixing the fuel system on it. This 5 kW is set up to back up my house. I just converted this one to electric start. I currently have 9 EU series generators. Those 2 EU 2000s are currently for sale. I think this one's an EB 2500, also currently for sale. This furnace is a propane furnace. It heats very well. I've installed it in this part of my shop, but I'm actually going to take it out and get rid of it. It takes up quite a little bit of room, and it's slightly inconvenient having it right there by the door. Never really had a good place to put it. It's time for it to find a new home. But it is propane. It runs on a fan, so it needs a generator to back it up. I have an electric one in here. It just seems to be more convenient. Doesn't heat quite as well, but does take the chill off. Autumn, you want to show them upstairs? She likes being upstairs. She'll look and see if we're coming. If we don't get up there quick enough, she'll come back down and go, "Where are you?" Here. I'm just going to show you, this is where I keep a lot of my propane tanks. It's probably not the greatest place, but that's where they've been stored for 10 years or so. I have half a dozen maybe at home. There's maybe 1 or 2 downstairs yet. I was using them for burning weeds the other day. But propane. Right there in the corner are 2 of the 4 refrigerator type things. The one on the bottom is actually just one of those coolers that makes the contents 40 degrees warmer or cooler than the outside. We used to use that when we were going to our cabin in Central Oregon to haul our food over. Just plug it in a cigarette lighter. And it goes, the one on top is a 2-way electric and propane refrigerator. I have 2 like that. Then I have one that's a 3-way, if I can remember where I put it. Autumn Bear. Hey, sweetie. Okay, let's go downstairs. Come on, sweetie. Let's go downstairs, okay? Come on. Good girl, sweetie. Where's one of them other fridges at? I think it's sitting down here in the way. Got too much stuff. Where is it? I've got half a dozen of these little heaters too. I've a number of hoses and adapters so you can run them on a 5-gallon propane tank. I don't know, I just pick them up at yard sales when they're not really expensive. They're like probably $100 new. They like to sell them for around $50-$60 on the internet. If I can get them for $10 or something, that's when I pick them up. So I have quite a few of them, more than I'd ever need. I have one out in my solar shed, and there should be one in the step van. It works really good for heating a step van. There's one of the other, this is a 3-way refrigerator actually. Runs on 110 12-volt or propane. It's a Norcold It's kind of designed for the RV industry. Carry this in your basement of your motorhome or your bus, and it will actually keep food frozen. It's not like a deep freeze, but if you put frozen items in there, it'll keep them froze. I can put like almost right at 2 cases of water in there. If I turn it down all the way, the second day you open up a bottle of water, it will freeze at that point, whatever that is, right down to about 30 degrees or so. So, and then I have one more upstairs somewhere. I picked this up at a yard sale. I paid $20 for it. After I bought it, I looked it up. I know they sell for over $800 new. So that was probably a good buy. So besides antibacterial soap, we keep kind of a minimum stock of bar soap, 10 somewhere between 5 and 10. Toothpaste all the time, miscellaneous stacks of hydrogen peroxide, hand sanitizer, deodorant, shaving stuff, shampoo, what I use anyway. Just keeping 5 to 10 of everything will help us get through whatever, this little pandemic thing or whatever. Keep up the TP selection as well. Bought more to get us through this pandemic thing or whatever, just stack it in the garage kind of deal. Keep a good stash of our dog's food. We have a container that holds a couple bags. 5 bags in reserve. Bag number 5. We stocked up on bottled water, about 10 cases or so, a couple gallons of bleach, miscellaneous, just garbage bags and lighters and things like that. Paper products, paper towels, a couple cases, a little extra TP. I thought we actually had some more, and I just stocked up at the barn as well. These are a couple of butane stoves that we've kept around quite a bit. They've been floating around for a while. I think I have a third one too out in the teardrop trailer. Got some older cans of butane, picked up some newer ones recently. Just good to keep in the shelf in case we lose, power here or whatever. The stove we have here at the house is electric. Here's our little stash of freeze-dried food. It's, a week's worth. They're thereabouts. It just feels good to have this kind of thing put away, put back. This is our back room pantry, just full of, baking supplies and canned goods and things like this that'll last a long time on the shelf. We don't really eat at home. We eat dinner out every day. So this is something we had to force ourselves to kind of put some stuff on the shelves. This snacks for the kids, for our dogs, so forth. But just some stuff that'll last a year or two. Meat stuff. There's some spam type stuff in here somewhere, probably behind here. Anyway, just coconut milk, different things for cooking, baking, soups, cereals, that kind of thing. This is the stove in our front room, and this is the stove in our master bedroom, and the kids' water food bowls. Both of these stoves do not require electricity to operate. This one is plugged in for the thermostat only, but it's not required. This stove will work just fine. It'll heat most of the house by itself, and so will the one in the front room. The one in the front room we put in when we bought this house in 1988 as a more efficient way to heat the entire house. We added this one when we did a remodel on our bedroom, and it works very good. If we only have gas, natural gas, and we don't have electricity, either one of these stoves is capable of heating the house, all of it. if we just choose to be cozy in the bedroom, we could just run this one, but why would we? We actually don't run the one in the front room at all. This one we do run it in the wintertime. One in the front room is primarily decoration right now, but it works. It's functional. This one has a remote control thermostat. The one in front has a wired millivolt thermostat. Nice little way to heat our house. The only other thing I was going to mention, I didn't really have anything to show, is gasoline storage for the generators. I keep all my cans full. I instruct my wife to keep any car she's driving full. Half tank is an empty tank. So if we need fuel, you've always got the fuel that's in the tanks. I've ordered one of those fuel stations. It's a 30-gallon fuel container with a hand pump on it. It's due to arrive on Thursday. We'll go fill it up with non-ethanol fuel and have a nice stock of stuff for our generators. And that's Ellie Kay. She's our oldest girl, our middle dog. We have 3 Australian Shepherds. She's talking to me right now. Hi, Ellie Kay. How are you, sweetie? Are you Daddy's girl? Of course you are. So, gang, that's just a quick little overview of our preps. I'm sure I forgot a bunch of stuff, but in general, that's what we do. We're not concerned about, I know, we've got you covered too, don't we, sweetie? Yes, we do. So with that, we'll catch you guys on the next video.